One of the key dynamics of this election campaign was always going to be whether the government can win any extra seats in New South Wales to offset likely losses elsewhere in Western Australia, maybe in Queensland, Tasmania, etc. Now, I said on air on Sunday that I wondered whether the New South Wales Liberals had blown that opportunity with their factional fights and court cases delaying the selection of candidates in winnable New South Wales seats. But now, after Anthony Albanese's disastrous first day on the campaign trail yesterday, a grave exposure of incompetence on his key area of vulnerability, well, suddenly the gains in New South Wales are not off the agenda anymore. And Scott Morrison helped to focus on one of those seats today. Parramatta is held by Labor on a margin of just 3.5%, but the sitting member, Julie Owens, is retiring. And the Liberals have gone with a hand-picked candidate, a captain's pick for a strong local candidate.
I love Western Sydney and I love Parramatta. I've spent, as the Prime Minister said, many years working here and advocating for the community. So what I'm trying to do here to represent this community is an extension of what I've already been doing over the past decade. And, you know, I can't say more than I'm totally committed to delivering for this community, and that's why I've been out every day talking to constituents, talking to small business owners, Marylands, Parramatta, Dundas, Tilapia, Parramatta CBD, up and down the Church Street strip and listening. People want to be heard and I'm here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. You can see why she's my pick. I know who Anthony Albanese picked.
Yes, indeed. Labor have gone for a captain's pick in Parramatta too. His name is Andrew Charlton and he lives a long way from Parramatta. This is his $16 million plus mansion in Sydney's elite Bellevue Hill, home to millionaires and even a few billionaires. It's more than 20 kilometres east of Parramatta and in many respects a world away. Charlton was economics advisor to Kevin Rudd when Rudd wrote his infamous essay during the global financial crisis saying social democrats had to save capitalism from itself. And the successful consultant has been criticised today for spruiking a $200 a ticket fundraising event with the former New South Wales Premier and former Foreign Minister Bob Carr, because the drinks and canapes event won't happen in Parramatta. It'll be at an undisclosed CBD location. That's the Sydney CBD, not the Parramatta city centre. Even though Charlton wants to be the Labor member for Parramatta and says he'll move there if he's elected. Apparently he's bought a house in Parramatta just in the last couple of days. I wonder if he'll sell the one at Bellevue Hill. A sharp campaign contrasting these two candidates could just snatch this seat from Labor for the Liberals. There's another seat where a fascinating opportunity has now presented itself. It's a tougher ask, but as you know, we've often spoken to Katherine Deves, who founded a group called Save Women's Sport. This is all about making sure girls and women only compete against biological females and only share change rooms and the like with biological females. This issue has been highlighted in a number of cases, most recently the US National Championship win by trans woman Lia Thomas, the swimming event, and she used to compete in these same events as a male. Now, this is a common sense issue. It's not about demonising trans people. It's about being fair to girls and respectful to women. As you know, the Liberals chose Deves now to run in Warringah against the independent Zali Steggall. When I interviewed Deves last week, it was obvious that she'd been advised to try to talk about broader issues, but she didn't completely shy away from this gender debate.
I am the mother of 3 little girls, and I'm of the view that women and girls do have the right to have a dedicated female sports category for fair competition and player safety, and that is a cause that's dear to my heart.
Now, the Prime Minister has highlighted this very advocacy by Deves when talking about what she brings as a candidate.
She's standing up for something really important, and that is to ensure that, when it comes to, girls playing sport and women playing sport, they're playing against, people of the same sex. Katherine is an outstanding individual. She's got a great legal background, and I think she could serve us very well in the seat of Warringah. And she's standing up for things that she believes in, and I share her views on those topics.
All fair enough, surely. But now this has triggered attacks from the Green left, targeting this as an anti-trans agenda. Trans woman AFL player Hannah Mounsey attacked the Prime Minister, saying of all the ways he could help women, apparently trans people playing sport is it, referring to it as a Batita advocate level story and goading the Prime Minister about turning up at women's sporting events. But the independent member for Warringah, that's Tony Abbott's old seat of course, has bought into the other side of this argument too. Zali Steggall tweeted that it speaks volumes about Morrison's values and moral compass that he supports discriminating, intimidating and excluding some of the most vulnerable in our society. How about focusing on equal pay and rights, etc., etc. Now, this is a gift for the Liberals. Steggall is talking nonsense. This is about protecting the rights of girls and women. Only the hard left activists, the ones that Zali Steggall hangs out with, only they would try to portray this as anti-trans or divisive. The parents of girls might just think that girls competing against girls makes sense, not to mention ensuring that only biological females can use the women's change rooms and all the rest of it. Sporting clubs routinely, I know, are respectful and accommodating with trans people. But mainstream people also understand the need to be fair and respectful to biological girls and women. Now, the way federal campaigns work is that the Liberal headquarters will try to keep Katherine Deves out of this debate, get her focusing on local issues in Warringah. That would be a mistake. She's a good candidate because of her advocacy on this issue. And Steggall's response shows that she belongs to the hard left and she's way out of step with mainstream opinion. The Liberals should embrace the gender wars in Warringah. They should fight for the rights of girls and women in that seat. It's a common sense argument worth having and just might unseat a Green left independent masquerading as mainstream. We asked Deves and Steggall for interviews today. They both declined.